Hello guys, Tom Yone here from Coding for Youth, and welcome to our Python tutorial. Uh, this is actually Python from scratch, and if you're actually looking to learn advanced Python, I would advise that of course, you can go to python.org. You can search. There are quite a lot of content creator and programmers, developers who are actually creating videos on YouTube. You can search for Python tutorials on YouTube, and then I tell you see quality and advanced Python that you can also learn from. Okay, so in this series, this particular series for this channel, we have been learning Python from scratch, teaching the very basics and also looking at the rudiments. So far we have touched a lot of areas. In the last the last lessons we discussed lists, the list type, data type in Python. Okay, but before we dive into what we have today, I'm going to touch more on the list. I just mentioned a few things that we did not mention in the last video, and then before we do that, I would like to implore you to subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already, and like the video and leave a comment at the comment section, and then also try a bit of code every day. We always advise people to learn every day, learn how to code every day. There are a lot of resources you can use if you're actually on on Twitter. You can follow the hashtag 100 days of code, and you try a bit of code every day. Before you know, you're already a master. Okay, so let's talk about a few things here that we did not discuss in the previous lesson. The number one thing I'm going to talk about is we talked about looping through lists. I believe what I wanted to teach in this particular lesson was to enter into tuples data type, but then let this just be an extra or addition to the list tutorial we had. Okay, so how do we loop? We have used our for loop to loop through we have used the for loop to loop through the items of a list. We can also loop through the index numbers of a list. Uh, and also, let me just show you that. For instance, we have this list here, fruits. Okay. Now remember that this is actually at index number 0. That's the apples. Mangoes index number 1, 2, and 3. So we have 4 items in this list. So we can actually look through the index numbers by using range and the length of the list. Okay, remember to check the length of the list, we use len, and I think we discussed range also. So this thing going to use a for loop, say for, let's say for x in range. Okay, and then we say the length of this list, which is fruits like this. We want to print x. We want to print the fruits, and then the index, which is x, like this. So if we save this, what we're actually doing here, remember that the range will actually give you a range of number, and then we are going to get the range of that number from, we're going to get that number from the length of the fruit, which is going to be 4. So we're going to loop through the index. Now if you print, remember that let me show you something. Now let me just explain something. If we want to get each of these items, in the list, we can actually access them by their index. That means if you have fruit index 0, it will give you apples, right? So we can equally loop through these items by their index. So what we're going to do, we're going to say, okay, for x in range 4, that means it's going to be 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So we're going to have we're going to be putting, we are going to assign each of those numbers starting from 0 to this variable x, and then we put that number as the index of the fruits. So if you print this, you still have your, let me just enlarge this so you see better. You see have our apples, mangoes, apples, cherries, right? So that's one way you can equally look through your list. Now let's talk about the while loop. We can use the while loop as well to look through the item of a list, okay? By using, we can use the length function. So let's just do an example. This is for the for loop. Let's use the while loop. So we have here, let me just change this to the apple, and then let me change this to the banana and mango. Then this should be cherry. Okay. Now you can actually use our while loop by coming here. You can say let x, the initial value of this, you can assign it to be 0. Okay. We can say y x is less than the length of the fruits, like this. Okay, we can actually print fruits by the index x. I will explain this code in the bits, and then we'll come down here. We say, we can say x, okay, is equal to plus equal to 1. All right, so let me just explain this code now. Now we have this list that has 4 items in it with index starting from 0. Now we're going to get a variable. We are going to declare a variable. We declare the variable and assign a value of 0 to it. So this variable has a value of 0. Now the length of this list is going to give us 4, right? So we're going to say, as long as the x is less than the length, we want to keep on printing the fruits. So when we print each of the items in the fruits, we'll come here, we increase x, okay? Each of the increase is to go back again and do the same thing and loop through again until the value of x is no longer less than the length of the fruits. It will stop. So if we run this, you see we still have the same answer, right? We have fruit, mango, banana, and cherry. So that's another way you can actually look through the lists, okay? Let me just talk a little bit about list comprehension. List comprehension actually offers the shortest syntax for looping through lists, okay? So we have looked at the looping through the index, looping using the while loop, using the for loop. All these actually occupy a lot more than 1 to 3 lines of code. So with loop comprehension, it's more like a shorthand of the for loop, okay? Now we have this loop, the fruits loop. The loop with loop comprehension can just say print, and then we'll loop through. You can just say print let me see, this is going to be a list, so print, let me say x, okay, for x in fruits. You see, we also have the same apple, mango, and fruits. Now this, I will explain this list comprehension better so that you to give a better understanding of the list comprehension. Now in the list comprehension, I will just this actually is an expression. This is the item. Each of the items is being assigned to this variable, and then this is the list, okay, or iterable. Now we can equally have a condition. Okay, so let me just do a few more examples about this, and then we'll move on. Okay, so what more example can I do? Let me see. So we have this list. Let me do it another way around now. We can say, we can just say, okay, we want new fruits to be equal to list comprehension. We have our expression for x in fruits. Okay, if there's a condition now, if you can say if a in x, let's print this and see. Okay, so you see, we can actually use this to filter. We're gonna look through the item, the list, and also look for all the items of the list that contain a, okay, which is this string. You can see that there is a in apple, a in mango, a in banana, but no a in cherish. So this gives us a new list, that a new filtered list. Okay, so list comprehension can actually be used to do things like that. I just want to talk about a little bit about um, let's talk a little bit about nested lists, and then we'll now move on to, we can now call it, we can end the class, and then we'll go on to tuple as in our next lesson. So let me just do a little bit discussion on multiple. Um, of nested lists. So we have nested list is actually when you have another list in another list. In a list, you can have multiple other lists inside another list. And to access the index, we can use. I'll just show you how to do that. So let's say we have this as list of fruits, and then comma, and I have another list. And inside this list, I can have 1, 2, and 3. Okay, 2, 3, 4 rather. Okay, so now I have two lists here right now. I have a list now that has another list inside of it. Okay, so what we could do to access let's say we want to access this index. This is how you do it. So you say print. Now we have our fruits, right? Um, then the what's it called? The index. We can actually remember that the index starts from 0, so we have 0, 1, 2, 3, and then this is supposed to be 4, right? Supposed to be 4. So we have 4 here. We want to get the item 0. If you print this, let's see what the answer will be. This will give you 2. Okay, so um, we use a kind of nested index to get the value or the index of another list in a list. You can remember we said that list can contain several types, data types. We can have an object in a list. Okay, so if I want to get the value 4, of course, it's going to be 2, right? Okay, so we have 4 printed out. What if this member of the list was somewhere like this? Okay. So we would have 0, 1, and 2, right? To access it, we have 2 and 2. We still have 4. Okay, so that's how you can actually next you can it could be multiple. You could have another one inside. You could have another list inside this other list, and just like that. So whenever you have a nested list like this, you use nested index to get each of the items of the list. So thank you guys for watching this video. I never wanted to make it too long. So I hope to see you guys in the next videos. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you and have a nice day.